Why Capricorn loves deeply but rarely shows it. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that you preferred to remain silent rather than risk rejection? Have you ever cared for someone without saying a word about your feelings, working in silence, planning your shared future, solving every problem that came your way, while that person thought you simply didn't care? If you are a Capricorn or love a Capricorn, I need you to hear this now. Because there's a truth about this sign that nobody talks about. A truth that explains why Capricorn will show up at 3 in the morning when you're feeling down, but won't send you a good morning, I miss you message. Why they'll remember everything you said in a conversation 6 months ago, but will seem distant when you need a loud I love you. Capricorns are not cold. They are not incapable of love. He is, perhaps, the most loving being in the entire zodiac. But his love doesn't seem like love to almost anyone. And today in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why this happens, where this armor comes from, what he feels inside while appearing impassive on the outside, and what it means when a Capricorn truly decides that you are his person. Stay until the end, because the last part of this video will change the way you see this sign forever. To understand why Capricorn loves in silence, you need to understand where they come from emotionally. Saturn is the ruling planet of Capricorn, and Saturn is not the planet of lightness, spontaneity, or easy surrender. Saturn is the planet of difficult lessons, of discipline, of time, of responsibility. Capricorn children. And here I'm not just talking about chronological childhood, but how this archetype forms within a person, often grow up having to be strong before their time. Many Capricorns carry stories of childhoods where they had to mature too early, where showing vulnerability had consequences, where crying was seen as weakness, where asking for help meant being a burden. So Capricorn learned. He learned that the world doesn't wait, that no one will come to save you if you stand still waiting to be saved, that the best way to survive and to protect those you love is by being capable, by being strong, by being the one who solves problems, not the one who needs comforting. And that's the root of it all. Capricorn doesn't hide love because they don't feel it. They hide it because at some point in their development, feeling too much was dangerous. Showing too much was synonymous with losing control. And losing control for Saturn is the most terrifying thing in the universe. Imagine someone who, from a young age, learned that their emotions were a burden to others, that their fragility was inconvenient, that love needed to be earned through performance, through results, achievements, proving worth. This person will grow up believing that love is a verb of action, not words. And that's exactly what Capricorn does. He loves through action, through presence, through silent effort. But the modern world values words. It values expressions. It values the easy-to-say I love you, the affection shown publicly, the vulnerability posted on social media. And Capricorn simply wasn't programmed that way. This is not a character flaw. It's history. Now, I need to tell you something that probably no Capricorn will tell you directly. Inside, the inner world of a Capricorn in love is absolutely devastating. Not devastating in a bad way. Devastating in the sense of a silent, storm-moving mountains, of a deep ocean that seems calm on the surface, but has powerful currents moving beneath it, invisible to those who only look from the outside. When a Capricorn falls in love, truly, not just the superficial interest anyone can have, they don't think about a romance for the next few weeks. They start thinking about the next few years. He observes you. He learns you. He memorizes your patterns, your preferences, what makes you laugh, what hurts you, what you need even when you don't know you need it. He begins to mentally construct a life that includes you. And it's not a vague fantasy. It's a plan. A passionate Capricorn doesn't daydream about impossible scenarios. He thinks, if this works out, I need to stabilize X. I need to build Y. I need to be able to offer Z. He starts working harder, planning more, becoming a better version of himself, not to impress, but because he feels he needs to be worthy of himself. This is love. Deeply, silently, completely. But to you, watching from the outside, it might seem like indifference. It might seem like he's too busy for you. It might seem like work comes first, that plans come first, that everything comes before simply sitting next to you and saying how he feels. And here lies the tragedy of Capricorn. He's building a castle for you, brick by brick, in absolute silence, while you're outside in the rain, unaware that the castle exists, thinking he simply doesn't care that you're soaked. There's a popular theory about the 5 love languages: words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time, presence, and acts of service. Capricorns are fluent in only a few of these languages. And those they do speak, they speak with a depth that few signs can match. Acts of service, the primary language. If a Capricorn loves you, they solve your problems. It's that simple. Your car broke down? They show up. You're sick? They show up with medicine and food, not necessarily with an emotional speech about how much they care, but they show up. You're going through a tough time at work? They won't tell you, "I believe in you," with sugary words. They'll research solutions. They'll help you think strategically. They'll stay up late with you preparing the presentation that needs to be delivered tomorrow. That's Capricorn love. It's practical, it's concrete, it's real. Quality time, but not in the way you expect. Capricorns don't spend time with just anyone. Their time is their most precious resource, even more so than money. So when they choose to be with you, when they cancel other commitments to be present in your life, when they make room in their busy schedule to sit by your side, that's a monumental declaration of love. The problem is that few people recognize this as love because it doesn't come with drama. It simply appears and stays. Silently, sometimes. But it stays. Consistent presence, the most misunderstood of all. Capricorn won't post about you on social media. Won't send you 50 messages a day. Won't make grand romantic gestures in front of everyone. But they'll be there. Every day. Consistently, reliably, unwaveringly. And consistency, for Saturn, is the highest form of commitment that exists. Anyone can say, "I love you," in a moment of emotion. Anyone can make a grand gesture once. But to stay, to truly stay, to stay when it's hard, to stay when there's no glamour, to stay when life is monotonous and complicated at the same time, that's what Capricorn offers. It's a rare language. And unfortunately, very poorly translated. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Capricorns know intellectually, rationally, that showing affection would make a difference. That saying "I love you" more often would resolve many of the conflicts they face in relationships. That being more emotionally open would create the closeness that, deep down, they so desire. He knows that. So why don't you do it? Because Capricorn's fear of exposing themselves emotionally isn't rational. It's visceral. It's ancient. It's almost instinctive. When Capricorn opens up, when they let their guard down completely, when they say what they truly feel, when they allow themselves to be vulnerable, they enter a state of exposure that goes against everything their psyche has been built to tolerate. Do you know that feeling of being in a very high place, looking down, and feeling that dizziness in your stomach even knowing you're safe? That's how vulnerability feels for Capricorn. It's physically uncomfortable. It triggers anxiety. It's like taking off your armor in the middle of a battle. And the worst part? When he opened up before, the times he took risks, when he said what he felt, when he showed the soft spot beneath the granite, he often got hurt. Not necessarily dramatically. Sometimes it was subtle. A tone of voice that sounded condescending when he was being sincere. A laugh at the wrong moment. A lack of reciprocation that he never forgot. Capricorns don't forget these things. Saturn records, archives, uses as data for the future protection system. Then he learns it's not worth it. It's safer to show through actions. It's safer to build than to declare. It's safer to prove than to promise. And so the cycle continues. He loves with all the force of Saturn, a force that moves time, that builds empires, that withstands everything. And at the same time, he hides this love behind a wall he himself erected to protect himself. Wait a second. If this video is making sense to you, if you recognize someone you know or recognize yourself in these words, I need you to do one thing now. Click the button subscriber on the channel Capricorn Secrets. Because here we don't do superficial astrology. We go deep. We talk about what the signs really feel, how they really love, how they really get hurt, and how you can better understand yourself and the people you love. And if this video is touching on something real for you, Leave a comment. Like also, because the like helps this content reach more people who need to hear exactly this. Now let's continue. There is a huge difference between a Capricorn who is with someone out of convenience, habit, or fear of loneliness, and a Capricorn who has genuinely, deeply decided that you are their person. And this difference is worth learning to recognize. When a Capricorn truly falls in love, certain things happen that are almost imperceptible to those who don't know what to look for. He's starting to include you in his long-term plans. Not explicitly. He's not going to come up to you and say, "I see you in my future." But you'll start to notice that when he talks about the next few months, the next few years, what he wants to build, you're there. The conversations will begin to include "we could," and "when we're," with a naturalness he probably doesn't even realize he's doing. That's huge. For a Capricorn, including someone in long-term plans is the deepest declaration of love there is. He begins to open up about the things that concern him. Capricorns don't talk about their fears with just anyone, about the insecurities they carry, about the pressures they feel. If they start telling you about what's weighing on them, even indirectly, even briefly, even if it seems casual, they're showing you a side that very few people get to see. He gets jealous in ways he himself won't admit. A jealous Capricorn is a fascinating thing. He won't explode. He won't make a scene. But you'll notice a slight cooling off when someone approaches you in a way he doesn't approve of. A casual question that's actually not so casual. A strategic absence that's actually a presence testing you. He's paying attention to everything. And jealousy, for him, is more of a piece of data to be processed than an emotion to be expressed. He begins to take care of his practical life. If you mentioned a week ago that you were worried about something, and he comes up with a solution without you having to ask again, he's in love. If he remembers small details of your routine and acts on them, he's in love. If he's willing to rearrange his own schedule to accommodate you, he's in love. This is the Capricorn equivalent of writing poetry. There is a tension in the heart of every Capricorn that few speak openly about. Capricorn wants to love. Deeply, completely, totally. But to love completely means losing control. And Capricorn and control have a codependent relationship that is almost impossible to break. For Capricorn, control isn't about dominating others. It's about security. It's the illusion, and they know it's an illusion, but they need it nonetheless, that if they keep everything under control, nothing will crumble. No painful surprises will appear. No unexpected loss will destroy what they've built. So when love appears, that overwhelming love that Capricorn feels inside, it comes into direct conflict with the control system that keeps everything running. Because real love is not controllable. Real love is chaotic, unpredictable, vulnerable by nature. And Capricorns spend their entire lives trying to solve this impossible equation. How to love completely without losing control. How to surrender without destroying oneself. How to be vulnerable without being exposed. Most people don't resolve it. They reach a compromise. They love as much as they feel safe to love. And they keep the rest. They package it, label it, put it on a well-organized inner shelf, and live with that. Not because they want to, because they don't know how to do it differently. And then someone special appears. Someone who, for some reason that Capricorn can't rationally explain, makes the shelves start vibrating, makes the packages start moving, makes the carefully constructed control system built over years start showing cracks. When this happens, when a Capricorn begins to lose control over someone, it's one of the most powerful and frightening moments in that sign's emotional life. And if you are the person causing this, you are being loved in a way that few human beings ever get to experience. We talk a lot about how Capricorns love, but we need to talk about what happens when that love is hurt. A Capricorn won't cry in front of you. They won't call you at 2 in the morning, devastated. They won't make a public scene. They won't post passive-aggressive messages on social media. What he does is much more discreet and, in a way, much more devastating. He disappears. Not physically necessarily, but emotionally. That presence you felt, that constant attention, that subtle care, that gaze that met yours, begins to diminish. He still shows up. He still functions. He still replies to messages. But something has changed. The temperature dropped. And the problem is that Capricorn will rarely tell you what happened. Because telling you what happened means admitting that you were affected. It means showing that the wound exists. And that goes against everything they've built to protect themselves. So he processes it on his own, silently, with the same discipline he applies to everything in life. And sometimes what comes out of this process is genuine forgiveness, a conscious decision to move forward, a reassessment that results in a stronger version of the relationship. But sometimes what comes out is a silent decision to walk away. Because when Capricorn decides that something is not good for them, when Saturn goes through the judgment and arrives at the verdict, they have an almost surgical ability to cut away what needs to be cut away. No drama, no long explanations, no more chances for you to convince him otherwise. It's simply over. This scares a lot of people. It seems cold. It even seems cruel. But for Capricorn, it's self-preservation. It's the only way he knows how to protect himself after being so caring, so loyal, so present, and still being hurt. If you love a Capricorn or want to love one, there are a set of truths you need to understand. First, patience is not optional. It's mandatory. Capricorn doesn't open up in weeks. Sometimes it takes months. Sometimes it takes longer. They're watching you, evaluating you, not in a cold, calculating way, but trying to understand if you're secure, if you'll stay, if what you show is real or just a performance. If you become impatient with this process and push for more opening before it's ready, you'll burn the bridge before it's even built. Second, above all, be consistent. Capricorns have an internal inconsistency detector that's almost supernatural. They notice when what you say doesn't match what you do. When your words are grand, but your actions are small. When you're present when it's convenient, but disappear when it's difficult. Be who you said you were. Every day, without an audience, without recognition. For Capricorn, this is the clearest sign that you are genuine. Third, respect the space he needs. Capricorns need solitude to recharge, to process, to be themselves without having to manage the presence of another person. This isn't rejection. It's a basic need. If you interpret his lack of space as abandonment and react with drama or insecurity, he will withdraw even further. If you respect him, trust him, and are present when he returns, you are speaking his language. Fourth, show that you are capable of handling life. Capricorn doesn't want someone they need to save. Not because they aren't generous, they are profoundly generous, but because they already carry so much weight of their own that the idea of being responsible for someone who can't support themselves is overwhelming. Being independent, capable, and stable doesn't mean being perfect. It means you can face life's challenges without falling apart. That's deeply attractive to Capricorns. Fifth, when he opens up, don't downplay what he shares. When a Capricorn finally lets their guard down and tells you something intimate, an insecurity, a fear, a story that explains who they are, that's a sacred moment. Treat it as such. Don't downplay it. Don't laugh at the wrong moment. Don't use this information as a weapon in future discussions. If you do that, the door will close, and it may never fully open again. There is a version of Capricorn that very few people ever get to see. It's the Capricorn who felt safe enough to lower their armor, who found someone patient enough, consistent enough, real enough that their protective system began to dissolve. This Capricorn is absolutely extraordinary. He is loyal in a way that makes the concept of loyalty seem small. He's there for you during the big, obvious crises, but also the small, invisible ones, the ones you didn't even realize were crises. He remembers everything, every detail you've shared about yourself. He carries with him carefully. He works on the relationship with the same dedication he puts into everything that matters to him. Not in a performative way, in a genuine, quiet, and constant way. When he says he'll be there, he'll be there. Not because he's romantically inspired at that moment, because he gave his word. And for Saturn, a promise is a promise made forever. He will build security around himself. Not prison, security. The difference is enormous. Capricornian security is that feeling of knowing you have someone who won't disappear when life gets tough. Someone who looks at the chaos and doesn't run away, but thinks about how to solve it. He will challenge you to be better. Not in a cruel way, not in a condescending way, but because he believes in your potential and can't stay silent when you're underselling yourself. And at some point, maybe too late to be dramatic, maybe in such a natural way that you hardly notice, he will tell you that he loves you. And when he says it, it will be the truest thing anyone has ever said to you. Because Capricorns never say what they don't feel. Never. Every word that comes out of their mouth has been weighed, considered, and checked against the inner reality they carry. When he loves you, he truly loves you. And truly, for Saturn, it means forever. Capricorn. If you're watching this video and recognizing yourself in these words, if you're feeling that strange mix of yes, that's exactly it, with a pang of something that feels like longing or relief or the sensation of finally being seen, I want to tell you something. The love you carry, that enormous, silent, profound love that you guard so carefully inside, is real. It's valid. It's extraordinary. But it needs to be shared in order to fully exist. You were taught that your strength is your greatest quality, and it is in many ways. But strength that never rests, never asks for help, never allows itself to be supported, eventually breaks. And when Capricorn breaks, it breaks alone, silently, with no one around to hold the pieces, because no one knew the break was coming. You deserve to be loved back, completely, visibly, with the same depth that you love. But to receive that love, you'll need to let someone see it. Not all at once, not overnight, but little by little, brick by brick, with the same patience and discipline you apply to everything in life, but this time directed inward, towards building connection instead of walls. The world needs the love you have to give, and someone out there is waiting, with the patience you deserve, for the Capricorn who has finally decided to allow themselves to be loved. And that's where we come to the end of this video. But I don't want to finish without asking you a question. Because throughout everything we've seen today, one thing became clear. Capricorn loves in a way that many people fail to recognize. A love that appears in actions, not words. In consistency, not grand gestures. In silent building, not noisy declarations. And this creates a very specific, sometimes painful, situation in the life of someone who loves a Capricorn, or in the life of the Capricorn themselves. So I need to ask you, have you ever experienced this? Have you ever loved someone, or been loved, so deeply that it was almost invisible? Have you ever had the experience of giving everything in silence, and feeling like no one was watching? Or of being on the outside, thinking you weren't loved, while the other person was building an entire world for you inside? Leave a comment below. Tell us about it. Because that's the most important part of what we do here on the channel. This exchange, this conversation, the recognition that you're not alone in what you feel. Every comment you leave helps other people feel seen. And it helps the channel continue bringing this type of content to you. If this video made a difference to you, if you're going to leave here seeing the Capricorn in your life with different eyes, or if you're going to leave here understanding yourself better, leave a like. It's simple to give and makes all the difference in getting this content to more people who need to hear it. And if you haven't signed up yet, Capricorn's Secret's okay. Do it now. Because here we continue this conversation every week, going deeper into what the signs really are, not the simplified versions, not the cliches, but the real, complex, human truth of each zodiac archetype. You deserve to understand yourself and to understand those you love. Until the next video.